Hey everybody, and welcome to our live. I just had technical difficulties, so I just got in a few minutes late. But welcome to our live today, where we're talking about discipline versus punishment. Now that is a hot topic, so we're going to get into that in a minute. First things first, I'd like you to say hello. Tell me where you're from. I want to thank all of you for your condolences on my mother's passing last week. That was really sweet. I got a lot of kind words and prayers, and I appreciate that. She was 92 years old. She lived a good life, and I was blessed and honored to be by her side as she took her last breath. I'll always cherish that. Okay, secondly, Mom Connection Group, Common Sense Parenting. It is a paid group. We still have openings if you're interested. We're going to limit the membership and kind of grow this slowly so we have lots of opportunity for engagement and interaction. Go to PamelaPalanza.com, click on the membership tab, and all of the information is right there for you. Okay. Secondly, my merchandise, Hug and Love Your Babies. I'm developing an online store that will have that saying on it. It'll be hats and shirts and hoodies and mugs and stickers and, oh my goodness, I shut my phone off and it is still ringing. I'm so sorry. I literally shut it down. Okay, and I'll need to do that again as we're doing this. I apologize. Technical difficulties. This is just the day for it. I don't know what's going on. Okay, so look out for the merchandise. It'll take me a while to get the whole store all together because it's a lot of moving parts and pieces to that. So I will get that done, and I'll let you know when that's up. Okay, and because we only have 30 minutes for this, I'm not going to be able to dive into this as deeply as I would like to, but it's really important. And so what I'm going to do, hi Wendy, what I'm going to do is my to-do list will include writing an ebook on discipline versus punishment, where I will go into detail. I will give you examples. I will give you scenarios. If you'd be interested in that, put yes in the comment section. And when it's done, I will send you an email to let you know where you can go to purchase it. Hi, Cha. I hope I said that right. From the Philippines. Hello. Okay, so let's get into this. Discipline and punishment. And I think people get confused on this a lot. I know from when I do some of my reels, some of the comments I get lets me know that people have some confusion on this. And let me just say this, because time is short on this, I will try to allow some time at the end for questions. If we don't have enough time, you can always put questions in that comment section even afterwards. I go back and check that, and I will answer your questions. These lives also go right up on my Facebook page as soon as we're done. And then I post them onto PamelaPalanza.com. So usually, either like this afternoon or tomorrow, it'll be up there. So you can access it easily without having to scroll through all of my posts on Facebook. Okay, I'll try to make it simple. All right, so here we go. Discipline. This is easy. It's positive. Okay, you're teaching, you're guiding your children. That's discipline. Punishment is inflicting fear or pain. It's negative. You're controlling behavior by fear or pain. Okay, now let me just tell you, I'm going to be referring to my notes because there's a lot I want to cover here, and I want to make sure I don't miss any of it. And as I'm going to start with punishment. And as I go through this, I want you to think to yourself, did you ever experience any of this when you were a child, and how did it make you feel? Okay, or are you doing this to your children right now, and how do you think it makes them feel? Because as a parent, you're in charge. You're a leader. Your children look to you for guidance, and they want to know that they're safe, and they want to know that they're loved and they're protected. Okay? So when you're disciplining, that's a positive thing. When you're inflicting punishment, that's pain. Which would you prefer? I mean, it just comes down to that simple. And if you are doing something with your children right now and you're not sure, is it punishment or is it discipline? That's what the criteria you use. Is it positive? Is it teaching them? Is it guiding them? Is it something they're going to learn and instill internally and they can manage their own behavior? Or is it pain? Is it hurtful to them? Am I controlling them by using punishment? And punishment is verbal, mental, emotional abuse. Okay, and let's get into that a little bit. Okay, physical punishment, spanking. Now let me just say this. This is a judgment-free zone. Everybody raises their children differently. That's entirely up to you how you raise your children. I am not judging you. I'm just going over this stuff. If you follow me, you know I do not believe in spanking because it doesn't teach. That's discipline, teaching, guiding. Spanking does not do that. So I personally oppose to spanking. That's up to you. Okay, slapping your child. That would be smack him on the face, the hand, the body, anywhere you're slapping him. That's punishment because that's pain. Verbal punishment. That's yelling at your children excessively. That's humiliating them. That's shaming them, calling them names. And I want you to think about this for a minute. You have like a 3-year-old, say. And so they're here, and you're here. And you're mad, and you're leaning over them, and you're yelling at them, and you're doing this in their face. Okay, think about it for a minute. That's painful. That's intimidation. Okay? That's abuse. That's punishment. So think about that for a minute. And I used to see this in childcare classrooms a lot when teachers would hover over children. Instead of getting down on their eye level and talking to them calmly and rationally and explaining. There's a big difference. Okay, timeouts. Now, I am not a fan of timeouts either. And I think that's because I spent 20 years going to childcare classrooms and assessing them. And a lot of times people use timeout. Timeout doesn't teach. It's not teaching anything. It's maybe sitting your child down for a minute and go, sit there for a minute, think about what you did. Well, if they're 3 or 4 years old, they're like not thinking about what they did because they did it and maybe they don't know why they did it. They're impulsive and you're not teaching them, well, here's what you should do differently so you don't do this again the next time. They're sitting there thinking, oh my God, I can't wait to get out of here. She's mean. They're not thinking about their behavior. So timeout, you can do time in, and we'll talk about that later, but timeout when it's improperly used. And let me tell you, when I would see this in childcare classrooms, there would always be that one child, timeout, timeout, timeout. And the children in the class would go, Robert's in timeout again. That's like humiliating and shaming a child in front of everybody in the classroom. You wouldn't want someone to do that to you. You don't do it to your children. Okay. And if it's extended isolation, so say your child's older and you say, you go to your room and you stay there for an hour. Well, that's extended isolation. You're not teaching them anything. You're just moving them away from you so you don't have to deal with it. Okay, I'm not a fan of timeout. Okay, taking away privileges. Now, I've certainly done that before with my children, and let me just tell you, I was not perfect as a parent by any means. I used positive discipline. Did I make mistakes? Sure. Did I learn from them and do better next time? Absolutely. That's why I feel so strongly about doing the rules that I do, because I'm on this end of it. I've done that already, and I know what worked and didn't work. So that's why I share these with you. Whether you agree or disagree, that's entirely up to you. Okay, taking away privileges like harsh deprivation. It's when you say you take your child's favorite toy away from them, and you go, you cannot have this for 30 days. They don't get that. They're like, that's harsh. Right? You're not teaching them anything other than you're bigger than them, you can take their toy away because you're the parent and they can't do anything about it. Okay? Or giving them a consequence that's not related to the behavior. So, for instance, you didn't eat your dinner, you can't play after dinner. You're just going to go straight to your room and go to bed. Doesn't make any sense. It's unrelated. So think about a different way you can discipline in that case. Okay, physical restraint. If you were holding your child down for any reason, that's physical restraint, that's punishment. If you are overburdening them with chores. Now, I believe you can use chores as a discipline, sure. But if you say, okay, you have to clean every room in this house because you misbehaved and I told you, I'm sick and tired of telling you, that's really harsh. That's overburdening them. That's not teaching them anything. Okay, the silent treatment. If you are withdrawing affection, if you're not talking to your child, if you're turning your back when they come in, that's punishment. If you, and I've seen people do this, make them right. Like, I will stop talking back 100 times. That's punishment. You're not teaching them anything other than you told them to do something. You're bigger than they are. You're the parent. They have to write it. Are they learning anything? Here's what they're learning. I can't stand her. She's so mean. I can't wait to get away from her. Or him. You're not teaching them anything. You're instilling fear in your child. Okay. Grounding them. I've grounded my kids before, but there's a way to do it. So you ground them for a short period of time related to the consequence. You don't ground them and say, okay, you are grounded for the next 30 days. The minute you get home from school, you go to your room and you're only allowed to come out for dinner, and then you're back in the room for the rest of the night. That's harsh, okay? That's not teaching them anything other than I screwed up and I've got to go in my room every day because mom doesn't know how to deal with it. And I'll tell you what, that is what a lot of punishment comes down to, is parents don't know how to discipline. They either don't have the skills or the knowledge. They were raised in an environment where they were punished, and that's just the norm for them, and that's all they know. Or that's just what they choose because it's easy. Sure, it's easy to smack your child and spank them on the bottom when they do something you don't like, versus sitting down with them and explaining to them or instilling positive discipline. It's just easier sometimes. It's not right. It's not effective in the long term. You're doing damage to your relationship with your child when you are constantly punishing them. Trust me on that, okay? And then taking away meals or snacks, absolutely not. In fact, in child care centers, it's a state law. You cannot withhold food as punishment for children. So, I mean, that's just a common sense thing, but some people do it, believe it or not. Okay. Hello to those of you who just hopped in, and I'll get to some of these questions later. But I want to get onto the positive reinforcement, positive discipline, because we have like 30 minutes left. And let me grab a drink of my tea. I love McDonald's tea, by the way. Have to have one every day. Okay. Positive discipline. That's positive reinforcement. And if you watch my reels, I try to teach that on those reels. That's praising and rewarding them for good behavior. So when you see your child doing something they should do, you say to them, for instance, oh, I love the way you shared your toys with your sister. You must be so proud of yourself. That's very kind. So you tell them what they did. You tell them it was kind, and you tell them you must be proud of yourself. Not I'm proud of you for doing it, which is okay, but you want them to internalize that they feel proud because they did something good. So praises and rewards will get you everywhere with your children if you do it the right way, if you don't overdo it. Okay, using an incentive system like a sticker chart. You know, you have kids maybe that come home and don't want to do homework, or you have children that don't want to clean their room. Who wants to clean their room? I don't want to clean my room half the time. But you use a sticker chart. Say, oh, you get a sticker, and once you get 5 stickers, or 3, or whatever, depending on the age, you're going to get this. Okay, it's incentive. Listen, if you have a job, you are being incentivized. You are being rewarded. So you go to work, you do your job, you get paid. Ta-da! That's your incentive. You're getting paid. That's what that sticker chart is for your child. It's incentive and motivation. Your motivation is, if I don't go to work and I don't do my job right, I could either get fired or lose my job. So there's your motivation. There's your incentive. Same thing. Same thing with your children. I am a huge, huge, huge believer in natural consequences. This is how I raise my children. It's so simple. It's unbelievable. Example. And I did this with my children. I'll never forget this. Kids were going out to school, get on the bus, and I said, hey, it's going to be cold today. You might want to take a jacket. And my son would go, no, I'm good. I don't need it. I'm like, I don't know, buddy. You might want to take a jacket. Nope. Hey, nah, I don't want to take a jacket. And guess what? He froze his behind off because he didn't take a jacket. That's natural consequences. I didn't go bail him out. I didn't take a jacket to a school for him. He was cold. Guess what? He never did again whenever it was cold. Natural consequences. Okay? That is one of the best ways for your children to learn. Because it's not something you did to them. It's something they did to themselves. This is what happened. This is the consequence. Oh, I think next time I might think twice about taking a jacket when it's going to be cold out. Or plan ahead. Then there's logical consequences. So, say you have a child who colors on the wall. Now, come on. I think all our kids have done that. I still let my grandkids color on my wall on purpose. But instead of like yelling at them or spanking them or sending them to the room or time out, or you just say, hey, buddy, you know what? I see you colored on the wall. Come on, you're going to help me clean it up. I mean, a 2-year-old can do that. A 3-year-old can do that. Help them, teach them how to clean the wall. They messed up, they fix it. Simple, done. And then you let it go. There's no big discussion, no drama over it. You just clean it up. Move on. Say next time, use paper. Tell them what you expect them to do. Very important. It's easy to tell them what not to do, but when you tell them what you expect them to do, so much better for you and the child. Okay, say for instance, you have a child who, siblings get in a fight over a toy and one sibling breaks the other sibling's toy. Same thing. Instead of getting all angry and spanking them and sending to the room, you say, you know what? That was your brother's toy and you broke it. So now I'm going to have you do some extra things around the house to earn the money to let's replace that. So you're teaching them action, consequences. And that is something that they're going to need all through life. Okay? Okay, let's get into, hi everybody coming in. I'd love to see this. Oh, I love the doodles, helping me clean his doodles. Wendy, awesome. So Wendy said her 3-year-old is helping clean his doodles. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Awesome. You know, I've talked in rooms before about setting expectations and guidelines before going places. So you're getting ready to go to church or a party or the store, and you explain very clearly to your children, here's where we're going, here's what's going to happen, here's what I expect out of you. If you don't do these, this is what's going to happen. Here's the action, here's the consequences. So I'll give you an example, and I've done this, a reel about this. Took my 2 grandchildren into the store. They wanted to buy something for their mom, and they were like 4 and 6 at the time. And in the car, I explained, hey guys, we're going in the store. We're going to buy something for your mother. I expect you guys to follow, stay beside me, listen to what I tell you, and follow the rules. If you start fighting over things, or if you try to wander off, we're leaving immediately. We're going to get back in the car. We will leave with nothing. And guess what they did? Exactly what I asked them to do. It was great. Now, are there going to be times that maybe they don't comply? Sure. And then you follow through and are consistent, and you do what you said you're going to do, and you leave. Okay? And I've done a whole Facebook Live on that one. Okay. Let's talk about time in. So time in, I love. Time is like just sitting down with your child calmly and going, listen, like, I saw this just happen. Tell me what was going on. How are you feeling? How can we think about doing this differently later? It could just take a few minutes. I mean, if they're 3, they don't care. I mean, their brain's like, 3-year-olds are all about themselves, right? And so you have to say, hey, buddy, listen, when you threw that toy at your sister's face, or whatever, let's just say, this is what happened. You hurt her. And, you know, and you just have this calm discussion with them. It's time in, okay? And then you have a consequence. Maybe he has to go over and hug his sister. Maybe he has to do something to make it up to his sister. That's up to you. That's like problem solving. You sit down together, you figure things out. That really works well with like older children, maybe 5, 6, 7 years old. Not that a 4-year-old can't, but usually they're a little bit older, but you can say, hey, let's talk about this. How can we look at this differently? How could you have done this in a better way? How can I help you? Okay? Role modeling. Oh, please, 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 people. Please. I gotta take another drink. Your children are watching everything you say, what you do, how you do it, how you treat people or not. And they're role modeling based on you. And that's a lot of power you have as a parent. So you need to make sure you're teaching your children the skills that they're going to need for life. And I will tell you what I have seen a lot of is children do not have manners like they used to. Teach your children, please. Thank you. May I? Excuse me. Teach them how to hold doors for people. We were raised when we sneezed, we said, excuse me. Not why, I don't know why, but that's how I was raised. Shoo, oh, excuse me. Okay, teach your children basic manners. It shows, I'm telling you, it shows, and it's sad to see kids who don't have basic manners. So be a good role model. You do the same thing. Say please, thank you, may I, to your children. You need to go clean your room, please. Oh, thank you for doing that for me. It's easy. They hear it, they see it, they internalize it. Okay? So then the last thing we're going to talk about, and then I'm going to try to answer questions. Last 2 things. 1, children need schedules. They need to know predictable schedules. What's coming next? That's why in every child care classroom you will ever go into, they have a schedule on the wall. Okay? Children need to know what comes next. It makes them feel safe, and it gives them some guidance for the day. And so even at home, you can have a schedule for your children to teach them, here's what comes next. It makes them feel safe and secure. Very simple. And then teaching your children emotions. Teaching your children to identify emotions and how to self-regulate. That can be deep breathing. That can be meditating. That can be doing whatever. Teach your children how to regulate their emotions. So when you do say to your children, as I did, okay, you're allowed to be angry, you're allowed to be upset, totally, I'm with you on that one. However, you are not allowed to impose that nasty behavior on everybody else around you, where they're screaming, yelling, throwing a tantrum. You may remove yourself, go to your room, go to another room, take a walk outside, depending on their age. And when you are calm, you come back and we'll talk. Okay? So you teach them that in the beginning, and then they have that skill. So when they do need to be removed, they can do it. And let me just toss this in here. One lady, I just did a reel about this tantruming, and a lady said, well, what if my 3-year-old is screaming and crying for an hour? Ignore him. Just walk away. Ignore him. He will survive. The roof won't fall in. Okay? That's the consequence of his behavior, and it's positive. You're not hurting him. He's fine. He will not be emotionally abused emotionally scarred, as one woman said, and need to have therapy later in life. I promise you. Okay, I'm gonna open this for questions. I'll give it like extra 10 minutes. Let's start. Let me get up here and see where I can find them here. And go ahead and pop questions if you have them right now. Hi, Wendy. I'm glad you're new here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay. Let's talk about this. So yes, if you were raised with a lot of punishment, you have to train yourself how to be positive, how to flip that to discipline, to be positive about it. And no one said it's going to be easy, because it's what you knew. It's norm, right? So you need to take courses, take classes, read books, train yourself. And one thing I want you to know, and as a parent, give yourself grace. We all screw up. I screwed up. We all do. It's just normal human nature, right? You're a human being and you're not perfect. Give yourself grace that if you know better, do better, and learn to do better for your child's sake. Because let me tell you something real fast. If you are raising your children with fear and control and pain, that's going to have mistrust. Your children aren't going to trust you. It's going to affect your relationship as a parent, and they're going to be angry at you. And I'll get comments on Reels where people say, I don't have anything to do with my parents anymore because of the way I was raised. Okay? So it does impact not just immediately your children, but as they grow up. It impacts them. And that's not something you can just wash away. It stays with them forever. So you need to think about that. Not to get too heavy here, but I'm just saying. Okay, my son laughs in my face if I try to have him sit and ask him better options he could have used. I need to know how old he is. If you're talking about the 3-year-old, then yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. He laughs in my face to try to have him sit. So you really don't need and ask him better options. Okay, so maybe you guys can just have a discussion like maybe put him on your lap. Just sit down. Maybe you're coloring together and you just talk about it that way. So he might be uncomfortable with you just like, being like right direct to him. He might be more comfortable like sitting side by side and just talking to you. So that could be a strategy. Okay, oh my goodness, we're getting all these silly trolls. Okay, ignore the trolls on here, guys. There's the better options. Okay, he's 7 almost 8. You think it'd be punishment or discipline? I think that's discipline. You're teaching him. You're guiding him. If you sit down and say, hey, guys, let's talk about this. But here's the thing. They may not know any. You may have to provide those for them and say, well, here's some ideas. Here's some things you could do. What do you think about that? Okay, because they don't know. That's why you're the parent, because you're teaching them. So what would you do if they don't eat as a proper correction? Then they don't have dinner. Then they're hungry later. That's all. They just have to go a couple times. So the question was, what do you suggest if they don't eat? Okay, as a proper correction. Well, then they don't eat. They don't have to eat. You're not always hungry all the time when it's dinner time, are you? I'm not. I eat when I'm hungry. Okay? So, I know you can't have that with the children all the time, but you could just say, you know what, that's fine, don't eat. But you could provide some snacks later. Like I've seen people in their refrigerator, in the door, they'll put like fruit or cheese or something there that the kids can nibble on later. So if you just say, okay, well, it's fine. If you're not hungry, go ahead. You can still sit at the table and talk to us, but you don't have to eat. You can't force them to eat, and they shouldn't be punished for it. Do people honestly take away? Yes, they do. That's terrible. People do take away children's food. Okay. To a sticker. Okay. Suggestions on them getting a positive reward and it turning into, if they don't get a sticker, they refuse to do it anymore. Okay, I don't know about that one. I might have to talk to you more about that, Wendy, later. Natural consequences, yeah, that's ridiculous. I don't know why these schools think they have to call Department of Social Services because your kid doesn't have a jacket. Get a grip. This is ridiculous. Some of the things these schools do now. I love these cleaning as doodles. Hi, Barb. Okay, Wendy. Giving up his toy. I don't know that. I would say no on giving up his toy. I would say you make him replace the one he broke. So that would be, he'd have to do extra chores around the house. Because if you're taking his toy away, that's not teaching him anything. It's just, well, you broke it and I'm taking this. But you want to teach him how to fix it, not remove something from him. So that I would say he has to go in and do an extra chore or something and then help earn the money to then replace that. And I would even make him go to the store with you and help pick it out and replace it. So he physically sees what's involved in replacing it. Okay. Vicky, let's see what you say. Thank you, Vicky. I'm glad to have you here. I love doing this. Okay, reminding them of expectations, very, very important. Okay, wow. What if your 8-year-old child hits his parents? Okay, there's something more going on there. Because of an 8-year-old, I don't know if this is new. If it's new behavior, I would say maybe there's something going on that you need to get to the bottom of. If he's never done it before, if he's been doing it all along, that should have been stopped a long time ago. Okay. Yeah. So if he's hitting you and he's never done it before, there's either something going on that he's expressing it through hitting, and that also gets your attention, or there's yeah, something you need to dig deeper. And he's seen somebody do it and thinks it's okay to do it because someone else is doing it. I see. This is why I'm like a huge advocate for not letting your children play a lot of video games, because and watch YouTube videos, because there's some things on there that teaches children that this is the norm when they see that. So you may want to check into that. Has he been watching anything? Is he watching TV or something that's not appropriate for his age? I don't know where to go on this one because I would have to have a little bit more detail on this. Anyway, okay, use the sticker chart. Okay, you know what? Then that's fine. You have to come up with other strategies for him. I'm following you, Wendy, here. Okay, he uses the sticker chart at times, but if he does something he feels he should get a sticker for and doesn't, he refuses to ever do that again. So you have to give me more detail on that for an example of what he is not doing. Because when he gets, here's the thing on this. Before you use the sticker chart, you have to explain this is when you're going to get the sticker. These specific times. Not just because you feel like you did something, you get a sticker. Because if you were over rewarding the children, that backfires on you. So it's, say for instance, if you clean your room every day or whatever, you know, you finish your dinner, put your dishes in the sink, you're going to get a sticker. And you do that immediately. Because children need immediate gratification, not delayed. That's why you never say to a child when they're misbehaving out in public, you wait till we get home and you're going to sit in your room for 30 minutes. Their brain's already like gone. Like, no, you have to do it immediately. So do the sticker thing. You can start, okay, sticker chart, Robin, you can start a sticker chart when they're 3 years old. 3 years old. I mean, you can do it when they're potty training when they're 2.5, but I would do a sticker chart for things when they're like 3. I always did sticker charts for my kids. It's very reinforcing, but you have to make sure you're consistent with it. You have to make sure you follow through on what the reward is immediately, okay? So that your children understand this is the action, this is what I get for it. It's like going to work, right? Okay. Wendy, I'd love to know more about that because I'm not sure why he, you know, for instance, when he feels he should get a sticker and he doesn't and he refuses to ever do it again, then we would need to talk about that a little bit more. But anyway, all right. It's almost 12:45. I hope I got all your comments answered. If not, please put them in here. And ignore these trolls that are coming in here. They're so annoying. They just need attention. Hi, Joan. Somebody needs attention. I'm sorry. They didn't get it as a child. They figure they'll get it here. Anyway, all right. I will see you guys next week. And in the meantime, remember, hug and love your babies.